Hey family, welcome to How Love Works, where we talk about the principles for lasting love. Well, Happy New Year. I know it's been some time, but I had to take a little vacation. Obviously, I have a large family and a large gathering when we get together, and we had such a great time. Now I'm here, I want to talk to you about some realities and some realities about relationships, especially in the new year where we're really concerned about New Year's resolutions, and a lot of people have a lot of them, I know. It's just tradition, it's what we do. But at the same time, when we have our resolutions, we have to be realistic. So what I want to share with you today is some basics of relationship realities as they relate to our new year, as it were, and what we can expect or what we should be doing going forward in the new year. I know a lot of people, when they think about New Year's resolutions, they're always thinking about things like losing weight, or perhaps even eliminating some bad habits they may have, or maybe even finding a soulmate. These are some of the things that most people are doing every year. This is just common knowledge. But this year I want to share with you 5 basic truths about relationship realities that if you have some understanding about these realities, it'll make it so much easier for you going forward. Because this channel is really interested in one main thing, and that is making sure that we do relationships right for the benefit not only of you, but for the benefit of all. So here we go. I want to talk about the relationships expectations or relationship realities that you can expect. All right. One of our first expectations, number one, is that we kind of look for love when we're looking for some epic love story. You know how most of us, we look at television, we look at some of the shows that give us some indication of how relationships really work. For instance, one of the shows that's very popular among women is the show Scandal. And one of the concepts that comes from watching that show over an extended period of time is this concept of passionate love. This is the passionate love story that's going to come as a result of a real love relationship. However, the reality is that you don't want to ever confuse dysfunction and calamity and tragedy and pain. You don't want to ever confuse that with passion. That's not reality. That's not a real love relationship. The reality of relationships is that a lot of real healthy relationships, which is what you want to seek. You want to seek out healthy, lasting, lifelong, successful relationships. That's what you want to seek out. And when you do those kinds of things, you will find out normally later on in the relationship, as well as the relationship continues to grow, you will find out that predictability and security, those aren't boring aspects. Those are things that really nurture a relationship and make it better. That's number one. Number two, expectation number 2. We want to build your life around someone. You want to build your life around someone. That's going to be your New Year's resolution. I'm here to tell you, I know a lot of people believe that, life will be that much more sweeter if you have someone in which to do that with. But the reality is, you don't want to ever build your life around someone. What you really want to do is you want to build your life with someone. Totally different paradigm. Totally different issue. Most people focus too much attention on the individual in the relationship rather than the relationship itself. And the problem is we put too much of a burden on the individuals in the relationship to make the relationship all we expect it to be. And obviously, when we come in from a loving perspective, that's not very loving. Wouldn't you agree? All right. Number 3. Expectation number 3. Real love relationships never experience problems. That's what we're going to be seeking. We're looking for real love relationships. And our expectations in those real loving relationships is that we should not experience problems, especially if it's real love. Now, the problem with that premise, because here's the reality, brothers and sisters. The problem with that reality is that everyone in our culture, especially those who are wanting to get involved in intimate romantic relationships, that is a sentiment that many people hold. That is a sentiment that many people believe. But what's the problem that is beneath all of that is that you're not supposed to have any problems. That's the problem. You think you're not supposed to have any problem. Now, if you believe that, then you're going to set yourself up for epic failure. Because the way you're going to react to your relationships when you do encounter challenges, and you will, it's inevitable, because you are a human being and you are flawed and you have issues, both male and female. So when you bring two individuals together to form a relationship, both of them have valid points of views. Both of them are mutually accepted. Both of them are mutually respected. You're going to have consternation, conflict, and challenges. That's just the reality. So to think otherwise is setting yourself up for failure. Number 3, expectation. The third expectation is, I will do whatever it takes to stay together in the relationship that I form. I will do whatever it takes to stay together in the relationship that I form. All right, now the reality is, this is relationship realities now. The reality is, if that relationship that you are so bent on staying in starts to violate who you are as an individual, and even violates the basic standards for a relationship, that is mutual respect. That's the basic standard for any relationship. That relationship starts to morph into something unrecognizable. Then it is no way you need to remain in something as monstrous as that. It is no way. All right, these are just basic realities. You don't want to remain in a toxic relationship just because you have some fantasy that you believe must be able to work itself out if I just hang in there. I'm not advocating that every time the relationship experiences challenges, that the first thing you do is throw the white towel and throw your hat in the ring and run. I'm not suggesting that. I am very clear. I'm saying that when the relationship starts to take on another form, it starts to go in another direction, it's starting to, you're starting to see and experience toxic patterns that are not changing, then it is not up to you to try to change the individual in the relationship. You can only change you. So that's when it's time for you to do about face and go the other direction. And out of love, I always say this, give the people what they want. When people are not willing to work with a relationship out of integrity, then it's time for you to walk the other way. All right. Number 5 and the last one. This is an expectation that a lot of people sadly hold in our generation today. My next relationship will meet all my expectations. People believe that. My next relationship will meet all my expectations, all my dreams, all my aspirations, right? Now, the reality, this is relationship realities here. What is the likelihood of that ever happening? Now, people hold other people to these high standards that are just totally unnecessary and cannot be done. It just can't be done. But we hold these realities in our mind. We think these are salient points and they have to happen. They will happen. No, it won't. It can't. That's why it's an expectation that's based upon a false premise. So thinking that your next relationship is going to meet all your dreams and aspirations, let me tell you, no one, absolutely no one can do that. No one is perfect, not even Barack Obama. No one can do that. I don't care what you see on the television. I don't care who you follow and fantasize in the media. Everything you're seeing is all a fantasy. It's not reality. So I'm giving you the realities of relationships and what you need to understand. Nothing is perfect, even your expectations. They're even flawed. So you need to make sure that you have an expectation that is based upon some sense of reality, where there's full disclosure for both you and the individuals within the relationship, so that everyone can benefit, so all of us can win, not just you. Fair enough? Now, because of that last expectation and that reality that I gave you, I want you guys to think about the year 2018, and I want you to think about it as you going forward into 2018. Make sure you take these 5 expectations and realities for relationships with you, so that you'll be able to have somewhat of a foundation to deal with the next relationship you come into contact with, or one that you develop. It doesn't even matter if it's a romantic relationship, or if it's just a friendship relationship, or a business relationship, or an acquaintance. You need to understand these basic relationship realities, because they basically cover everything that you'll ever encounter. So with that being said, I'm going to end this on this note. This is a new year. We're going to be talking about a lot of various subjects this year. Everything from obviously relationships and how love works, and the principles of the lasting love, and we're going to be talking about those principles as they relate to our health, because I want to deal with that issue as well, especially in the African American community. There is a tremendous amount of deficiency. But I also want to deal with the area of finance and how that has been affecting the African American community, as well as those who may be listening on my channel who are not African American. The only reason I'm focusing most of my attention on the African American community, because that's where the greatest need lies. I have no problem with any other culture. All cultures have deficiencies and issues. I recognize that. But as I was saying, I want to deal with those areas that specifically deal with the African American community. I have an affinity to the African American community, not at the expense of the other. I just want to make sure that African American community can get the benefit not only of my 30 plus years of lasting love with my wife and my family and all of the things that we've experienced, but also the benefits of others that I've had relationships with. So with that being said, that's my time. I thank you for yours. Catch you on the other side. God bless you.